So I got some issues with the lighting on my dash not being very dark. You turn the headlights on, or parking lights, any of those, you can see not much lights up. Let me turn the lights off in my garage here and show you that they're just not super bright. So I've purchased some LED and see if I can make that brighter. Plus the door lights, when you open the door, aren't super bright either. So I'm going to change those to LED and we'll see how it looks. So we're going to have to get a wrench to fit this little Allen here. I don't know what it's going to take to do the mirror here, but nice thing about having a convertible is I got a light. So that really helps. Plus the fact is I don't have to duck my head to get in. Alright, to remove the two screws in the dash here, use a T20 Torx to get those out. I've already removed them. And then the headlamp switch, you're going to pull your headlamp all the way out with annoying door ding. And then inside the there's a little clip, and I found it best to work with an angled piece of pointed material to get in there. I'll show you the tool I used. I picked this up at Harbor Freight years ago. I don't know if they still carry it. It's pointed on both ends and able to go in there and push that forward, this direction forward, and then it pulls off the shaft. Now my car, granted this thing's 20 years old, the little metal piece decided to stay on the shaft itself, and it's not really a big deal. Just pull it off there and stick it back in. It's just kind of old plastic. In fact, it may be a little cracked right there. So if it doesn't hold, I can always get a new one. Not a big deal. I'll stash up, but I don't know if I can do it with one hand and doing it or not. Grab down low and pull a little bit there, and again, same thing here, and then over there, and then over there. And as you see, it wants to come out. Now I've tilted the wheel down, and out the bezel comes. Now we get to take on the screws in there and get those apart. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm thinking there's one in the middle. Yeah, there's 2 more up front. Well, maybe not. Those are go around the clear bezel. So maybe just the 4. Oh, probably down low here. Alright, I'll pull that out and see how it goes. So I had to put an extension on my driver to get to the T20s back here, to get to them. You could use a manual drive, but I've got tooling from working on copy machines, so that's what I use. If I can set it. So anyway, that needs that extra length to get in there to clear the dash of the visor here. Alright, so I got the screws out, so the bezel is ready to come out. I don't know that I can do it with holding the camera and put it in, but there's going to be some connectors on the back that we have to disconnect. So you have to tilt this upward in order to get it out. That's the little bit of a clue too. So you're going to have to work with it at an angle about like this and reach underneath to get to the connectors. There's 2 of them. And you just pinch them with your finger there on that tab and push down, and boom, they come out. And then you have the cluster assembly. I noticed when I was pulling out, my RPM gauge went up to like 5,000. I don't know, because there's probably electricity going to it, eh? Alright. So once we have it out, be sure to probably work on something anti-static just to help the electronics from shorting anything out. But you'll notice we have the big ones here and here, here and here and here. And then your smaller ones like turn signal and theft and yeah, overdrive. Definitely don't use overdrive, so don't need that. But they may be polarity correct. I turn the autofocus on. So you'll notice there's numbers at the bottom of the little guy here. It's really kind of hard to see, but there's numbers. Maybe pay attention to where those numbers are. And since we're not using overdrive, we'll pull that one out and take a peek at it. So I found my fingers not able to grip the light very well, and being careful with a pair of needle nose will work. So that's what our little light looks like that's in there. So these are the items I bought off of eBay, excuse me, Amazon, and hopefully everything goes well with them. I don't know, I was thinking this was going to be the interior lighting, but this didn't turn out to be the right thing. So ignore that one. Okay, got the blue LEDs that I'm going to install. Again, using the needle nose to remove, and then taking the bulb out as just a straight pull out. Of course, doing it one hand is a little difficult. So once you pull it out, then you've got the bulb itself, and just pop in the LED lamp and seat it in there, and you hear it kind of pop and click, and then insert it back into the slot and snap it into place. And so on till you do all of them. So something I noticed when you put the little lights in is factory they're set with a color in there. So, you know, if you put red in with the yellow, is the red going to come through? I don't think so. So, something to think about. I'm going to put yellow in there. That'll just probably make it more yellow. So, you have to pull these little lamps out like yay. And then you insert the new ones. So I had a few of the LED lights come in with their little connection pins kind of bent. This one's fine. Anyway, I really don't see a polarity in the socket here to look at. I'm just going to insert them and see what happens. Go with that. And if it doesn't work, then hey, I think if I just apply 12 volts to it, I could try that. See if they reverse. Alright, so I got the cluster back in. Move the camera around. There we go. And I see the theft light came on when I opened the door. Turn on parking lights at least. And I can already see a difference in the parking lights. Now, does your dimmer work with this? That's a question. I don't know. Let's see. I can't grab the knob with my finger very well. Yeah, dimmer does work with us, so that's coolio. So we got the blue, and I can simulate dark because I'm in my garage here in a minute, but I kind of wanted to check things out with the all the lights that function. So looks like we have those lights working, and turn signals. They don't have a left turn signal, so you got to take a look at that. So I'm going to tilt the wheel up a little bit, or down, maybe down, and try that. So I ended up having to remove all the Allens, or not Allen, excuse me, Torx. So there's, around the gauge, because you got to be able to tilt this to get to some of these screws. And the fact is, it just doesn't want to come out. So that's what you have to do to get this bezel piece out. It's not easy. But there's the cluster. Now, feels kind of liquid, and looks like it might work at that point. I just gotta rotate it around. When I was doing the gauges, it would flip off. Let's see what happens when we power it. Working. That's working. And we're cold. Now why do I have check engine? That's nice. Well, I have to look at the check engine next. See what that's about. Didn't have that before. Okay, so I switched LED from the stock. And these are a little bit of a pain to get apart. You have to come in prying from one side and gently pushing down because it is plastic and could break easily. And it's got to be just right where the sweet spot is, right there. And then it comes down. And then in there is that tube-like light. I purchased these at AutoZone, and I think it's going to make a difference in the brightness. So when you're taking this out, you run across some issues with the bulb, and the bracket that makes the contact starts coming loose. You have to get this piece clip back into the plastic, into the mirror. I don't know that I can show it to you, but just believe me. Okay, so I got that a little loose, but I won't have a light to hold and a camera. But this you have to clip back in up to the plastic in there. You'll have to experience it for yourself. It's not the easiest job, but it can be done. Also, I had to modify the clamps just a bit. I had to crimp them a little more to make them work. So once you get it lined back up into the little slots in there, we can insert the lamp. But you may find it flickers, and you have to tighten the clamps just a tad to make a contact better. Okay, so here's the LED lighting on the interior now. Much better than it was, that's for sure. Nice and white and bright. So with the cluster, you can dim it down with the LED and it'll go all the way off, and then gives so much you get a reflection up here on the black. I haven't changed out the air conditioning unit You also have a rear window defogger over here. I'm not going to bother changing that one, but this information here could be a little darker. It's not too bad. There's it all the way up in intensity, but don't know if that's bright as this is, that's for sure. This is really bright. Well, anyway.